Hey there, everybody! What's up, and welcome to my channel. As you can see, the title of this video is going to be discussing um, that I used to be a Jehovah's Witness and why I left them. I am going to put a trigger warning right here and say that if you don't like discussions about someone being bullied or religious cults in general, this might not be the video for you. I am not making this video just for people to give me sympathy. I am making this video to share my experiences and hopefully warn people about this religious cult. Okay, so let's get into the topic of today's video. Um, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness because I was actually born into the religion. Um, and because I was born into it, I had a lot of things expected of me from the very beginning, um, because of being a Jehovah's Witness kid, I was expected to set a good experience for other Jehovah's Witness kids in general. A lot of Jehovah's Witness children that were born into the religion, they don't really know how to act like a normal kid because most of their childhood is sheltered. They don't really know the reality around them. So that's kind of what happened to me growing up. My childhood was very sheltered, and I really didn't have a grasp on reality as it was growing up. Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't celebrate holidays or birthdays or anything like that because they feel that that is worshiping Satan. Yeah. So I never had a birthday or anything like that. And if I went to a family gathering, um, my mom's side of the family would like have these little family reunions or stuff like that, mostly to celebrate the holidays. Um, I would have to sit out when it came time for gift giving. Um, and if I didn't sit out, we would just leave. My mom, my sister, and I, we would just get up and leave and be like, okay, bye, you guys. Give each other gifts. We're gonna go home. Jehovah's Witnesses also don't believe in giving blood transfusions. When I was born, I was diagnosed with a rare birth defect called tetralogy of Fallot. And because of this, I survived two open heart surgeries. And I was lucky, because I didn't take any blood transfusions around those times. And so I was fortunate enough to survive. Um, some people, on the other hand, if they had to have a major surgery like that and they were a Jehovah's Witness, they were not fortunate enough to survive like I was. Um, so, but nowadays, since I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness and I am speaking out against them, um, if I had to take a blood transfusion, I would gladly accept it. I even told the ER, like when I visit them, for like getting a test done or just, to, get my health stable or something's acted up, that I will take it. Take a blood transfusion if need be. Only problem is that I don't know what my blood type is because I never took a blood transfusion before. So, with that in mind, with the whole being born as a Jehovah's Witness and then growing up as one and eventually getting baptized as one, I think to me, being a Jehovah's Witness in school it opened up a lot of opportunity for kids to pick on me for it. Because they knew I couldn't celebrate holidays or birthdays, so they knew I had to get up and, lead the celebration, like if it was somebody's birthday in school and whatnot. So they knew, and I would get picked on for that. In high school was the worst time to be a Jehovah's Witness. At least for me, it was because I was going through puberty, you know, and that's also when I figured out that I was bisexual, and that was bad. I kept my mouth shut about that because with Jehovah's Witnesses, they might say, "Oh, we accept all, sexualities and stuff, and you're welcome here and shit like that." You're not. You're not. If you are not straight, if you're any sexuality other than straight, you are not welcome as a Jehovah's Witness. They will try to tell you to change your sexuality, stuff like that. They will ridicule you, they will ostracize you. I know. And, and if you are a Jehovah's Witness and you realize what your sexuality is and it's not straight, and especially if you're baptized, you have a very, very high chance of being disfellowshipped. So I kept my mouth shut for that reason. I did not want to be disfellowshipped because I knew what the consequences at home would be. I'd probably get kicked out of the house, you know. So I never came out and never said anything about it. um, in high school, it was bad because I was, how do you put this? I was more well endowed. I had bigger boobs than a lot of the girls in high school and stuff. And so I got a lot of unwanted attention because of that. And so I would get asked out by the popular guys a lot, and then I would say no. And the next day, or what, the following days, it would be like I would have rumors going around that, oh, she's gay because she doesn't want to go out with so and so. Any girl would kill to go out with so and so. And it is like, okay, uh, so what if I don't want to go out with you? But yeah. Um. However, though, the funny thing was about that is that I actually did a rather rebellious move in high school, and I actually made friends with some of the kids, and I told them about my situation. They were like, "Oh, we understand." You're a devoted Jehovah's Witness, and it was very obvious around that time for me. But uh, it's actually really frowned upon by Jehovah's Witnesses to make friends with outsiders because it's like they know people that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses can influence you and possibly influence you to the point where they can give you a reality check. They can show you what reality is beyond Jehovah's Witnesses. So, um, and I did that rebellious move. I ignored all of that, and I made friends with kids in high school, and they understood my situation, so they would actually stand up for me and be like, she's very devoted to her religion, and she is saving her virginity for marriage, so she's not gonna date you for that reason. Yeah. And it was just, the thing about it was that I wanted so badly to say what my sexuality was at that time, but because of being scared and being a people pleaser and stuff like that, I never said anything. I just started to talk about it this year, around about this year, I do believe. Um, because right now I'm actually in a good spot in my life. I have a healthy marriage. I have a good, stable living condition. I am a grown ass woman. I am not a Jehovah's Witness anymore, so I don't have the fear of being disfellowshipped because of not being straight, you know. So, um, the one thing, however, I did learn about a lot of people that I met that weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, they can take the information that you give them at any time, whether you tell them in confidence because you trust them or not. They can take that and they can stab you in the back with it. I've had that happen so many times in high school, but yet I still tried to make friends outside of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, on the other hand, with Jehovah's Witnesses, they're loyal to you as long as you stay within their religion. As long as you stay a Jehovah's Witness, they are loyal. And that's the only reason they're loyal. It's because you're a Jehovah's Witness and they are a Jehovah's Witness. However, the very moment, and I mean the very moment, you leave Jehovah's Witnesses, whatever friendship you might have had with somebody, it's gone. They will turn their backs on you so fast, they will drop you like a hot potato. And that is exactly what happened to me. I had a couple of best friends, and I thought they were my best friends because I was friends with them since childhood. And one of them was actually a maid of honor in my wedding. Um, the very moment I left Jehovah's Witnesses, and the very day that I told my best friend that I left, she dropped our friendship so fast. It was over in the blink of an eye, basically. Yeah. And that was really heartbreaking for me. I mean, she was my childhood friend. All the years that we were friends with each other, all the times that we helped each other with whatever hard times we were going through, it was like none of that mattered anymore. As soon as I left Jehovah's Witnesses, it didn't matter how long we were friends, how close we were to each other, none of that mattered. Because I was no longer a Jehovah's Witness, I no longer mattered. And that's just sad. And it's bullshit. Because, the governing body actually encourages Jehovah's Witnesses to treat their friends and family that leave Jehovah's Witnesses in such a cruel and harsh way. If, honestly, think about it this way, if they were Christian, like they claim to be, they would not make such a big stink about somebody leaving the organization. They would just let them go. That's what Christians do. From what I've seen, Christians are pretty chill about people leaving the church and stuff like that. Like, okay, you don't want to, be in our church anymore? All right, see ya. See you home. We could still be friends, but see ya. Jehovah's Witnesses, you try to leave, it's like, nope. We can no longer be friends. You no longer matter to me. Your feelings or whatever we had, it's all gone. It no longer matter to me. I am no longer loyal to you. Bye. And we will never see each other ever again. Basically. And honestly, I think that is a tactic used by the governing body to keep a grip on their members. You know, and they have like all these failed Armageddon predictions and stuff like that, and they just plant fear into their members' hearts. Yeah. Uh, Especially if you're a member and you have like family, intermediate family that is Jehovah's Witnesses, they will plant fear in your heart so bad to the point where you feel you can't leave because it's like, oh, I have all of my friends and family that are Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm going to lose what I hold dear if I leave. And that is very cruel. That is very cruel. When you leave, and if anybody wants to be in contact with you, and a lot of times they're in contact with you for their own religious advances, um, you pretty much have to walk on eggshells around him. And it's like, okay, um, you can say certain things, you can't say certain things, and I think that's also the governing body is doing because that's a silence tactic on their part. They say, oh, if you're gonna get your field service time in by talking to these people, you know, you have to make it so they have to walk on eggshells and not they can't speak out against you. Um, I left Jehovah's Witnesses 9 years ago. Technically, it was 8 because I tried to stay in it like a little bit after I got married and stuff like that. But then I just came to terms with the fact that I did not agree with what I was being taught anymore. Even though I was baptized and stuff like that, I just stopped agreeing with it because I started getting more of a reality check, you know, and looking at the world and what it really was beyond Jehovah's Witnesses, and I kept seeing contradictions a lot in the beliefs that I was being taught. My husband was the first one to leave. He was also a Jehovah's Witness, and he was the one that started researching into the history and stuff like that. And that is also a big no with Jehovah's Witnesses. You are not allowed, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you are not allowed to do any research at all on the history of Jehovah's Witnesses or anything like that. You have to follow the orders that the governing body gives you. No questions asked. Because the moment you stop following orders and you start questioning the governing body, that to the governing body is like questioning God, because they view themselves as prophets for God, you know. No, but he started looking into the history because he started seeing contradictions in what he was taught. And at that time, I had also, you know, just stopped agreeing with it. Actually, I stopped agreeing with it long before I met my husband because but the only reason I stayed was because I did not have anything set up to where I could leave, to where I could leave the house, and be on my own and stuff. Well, parents made sure of that because I was working a full time job at that time, and they would take like over half my paycheck and barely leave me any money for bills and stuff like that. They would take my paycheck saying, oh, it's rent. We raised you all this time, so now you need to start paying us back and shit like that. It's just, honestly, when that started happening, that made me question things. And there was one time that I actually corrected an elder on what our beliefs were. An elder. He's one of the ones that's supposed to be leading the congregation. And I corrected him on one of our beliefs at the time. He looked into it and was like, yeah, you're right. I said the wrong thing. And I'm like, okay. I took a step back at that very moment. And I was like, okay. if I, if a teenager like me, because I was 16, getting ready to go into high school around about that time, if a teenager like me can correct an elder who is much older than me on our beliefs, they're not really, they just don't really know what we believe, in my eyes. So I started questioning. Actually, when I got baptized, I was having second thoughts about it. And I made sure I was the last person in line. But because I was a pleaser, I went through with it. Because I knew everybody that was gathered around the baptismal pool, they were there for me. I already knew it. So, I mean, they would clap, respectably for the others that got baptized. But once I got baptized, it was like a cheer. Like it erupted in cheers, like around the baptismal pool. And I was just like, okay. Yeah, they were there for me. Um, the other reason why I left Jehovah's Witnesses is I just stopped believing that Jehovah existed in general. I stopped believing in Jehovah. And that was a turning point in my life, too. Um, so, at that time, um, I just saw no reason for me to stay in a religion that I no longer agreed with their doctrine and I no longer believed that their God existed. So why the hell would I stay supporting something that I really don't support? Yeah. That actually the very thing that really pushed me out the door was the elders in the congregation that were the head of a congregation that I moved to after I got married. They were making shepherding calls on us, and they really pissed me off on one of their visits. They said, because I asked them about, asking questions and stuff like that, is that okay? I posed that question to them, like, is it okay to ask questions about our beliefs and stuff like that? And their response pissed me off so bad that I stormed into the bedroom. I stormed away from them down the hallway into the bedroom, slammed my door shut. And but before I slammed my door shut, I yelled at my husband and I said, "Get these idiots out of my house." um, their answer to the question that I posed, like, is it okay to question our beliefs, was you can have questions, but you cannot question the governing body. And that's what did it for me. That's what made me see, like, oh, we really don't have free will, even though in the Bible it says that we do, that God gave us free will. But no, once we join Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't have free will. We have to follow orders. And that is cult mentality. You have to follow the leader's orders without question, and if you don't, you get disciplined. So, after I left, honestly, I tried out other religions. Like, I tried any other religion other than religions that had dealings with some form of Christianity. Because it's the idea of Christianity put a bad taste in my mouth. And you know, I was friends with people that were Christians after I left, and I just saw how badly they acted, and it was like, okay, no, Christianity, no. So when I left, I tried being a Wiccan for a few years, and Wiccans are pretty much, real life like witches and stuff like that. So because I had some interest in doing magic, doing occult things and stuff like that. Um, so I left, and I was a Wiccan for a few years, and then I didn't really, I just dropped being that, and then I went from being a Wiccan to a Satanist for like a few months or so. And then I dropped that. A lot of the reason why I was doing these religions is I wanted to spark a belief in being a part of something that was bigger than I was. I wanted to spark the belief that there were gods out there, just not Christianity's God. But, I just came to terms with, you know what, I really don't believe in God. So it was from that moment on that I decided, no, don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. That's just simple as that. And I finally came to terms with that a few years ago. So, and now I'm happy with where I'm at, even though I'm an atheist, and people would shake their heads at that probably and just think that's sad. Like, oh, I went from believing in a God to no longer believing in one. But honestly, I'm proud to be an atheist because I'm probably either the only one or one of the few that are atheists in my family. I don't really know of anybody that's an atheist besides me. Everybody else is like Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, Methodist, Christian, stuff like that. But right now, I'm speaking out because I'm sick and tired of standing by and watching in silence just so I could, have some sort of relationship with family members that are still Jehovah's Witnesses, and I didn't want to affect their standing within the congregation, which that's really stupid because it's like, you know, I have nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses anymore. They barely ever talk to me unless it's, something needed for like legal reasons or something like that. And so now that I'm speaking out, I'm considered an apostate. Jehovah's Witnesses hate apostates, especially those that are among the governing body. They are trying to either chase us away or trying very hard to get us to see like how mentally disabled we are because we're apostates and convert us, which is really stupid. The sad part about it is I do have mental health issues. And sometimes Jehovah's Witnesses will pin the fact that I am not a Jehovah's Witness, but an apostate on my mental health issues. They're like, oh, well, she's got some, mental health issues. She's not right in the head. That's why she's an apostate. No, I chose to be an apostate. And I think, I should have my decisions for that to be respected. Just like I respect Jehovah's Witnesses for their beliefs. Even though I don't like them, I respect them for their beliefs. They need to respect mine. So, um, yeah. I would say follow me on Facebook to see like how I've been speaking out because right now on my Facebook profile, that's how I'm doing that. But you don't really have to because I had pretty much all of my posts on Facebook privated at the moment where only my friends can see it. And I'm not really taking any friends requests at the moment because of the fact that at the tail end of last year, beginning of this year, I was dealing with the cyberbully. And he was like stalking me and a friend of mine on my profile. And he was targeting certain uh, posts on my timeline just so he could provoke, no, and it's just it was a mess. Like there was even one point where he claimed he could take me to court for defamation of character because he didn't like something I had to say about him. But right now, I don't really want to talk about that much. But yeah, haven't really done any live streams or anything like that because I'm just starting out. I might do one on Facebook, but I'm not sure just yet. But if you want to see me do one, um, help me get a 100 likes on this video. I'll do, if I get 100 likes, I'll do a live stream on Facebook, and I'll make it public. Yeah. Um, my socials are in the description. Please subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll be able to see, the very moment I post the video in the future. And if you like this video, drop a like on it. I'm Sapphire Rose, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.